Hello everyone, my name is Rezwana and I'm going to present our paper titled Designing Creative AI Partners with COFI, a framework for modeling interaction in human AI co-creative systems. So let's dive in. In human AI co-creativity, humans and AI collaborate in the creative process to generate creative artifacts or ideas. Co-creative AI can help us in generating art, music, design, creative writing, and more. In human AI co-creativity, the final product is expected to be more creative than what a user can achieve alone. This research area is growing extremely fast given that AI is being used increasingly in collaborative spaces, and with the emergence of ChatGPT, DALL-E 2, and other popular co-creative AI, this research is very timely. As I just said, human AI co-creativity is about humans and AI generating something creative collaboratively. Interaction between users and the AI is a fundamental part of co-creative systems. However, even though we see an impressive algorithmic progress in the field of co-creative AI reinforced by the literature, interaction design is often overlooked in the literature, which is reflected in the interaction designs of many existing systems and a lack of tools or frameworks in the literature for designing interaction in human AI co-creative systems. So motivated by this research gap, we developed the first holistic framework for designing effective interaction, in short, COFI, in co-creative systems as a guiding tool that describes the possible spaces for interaction design in co-creative systems. COFI can be beneficial while investigating and interpreting the interaction design of existing co-creative systems. And COFI is informed by research on human collaboration, computer-supported collaborative work, computational creativity, and human-computer interaction. The primary categories of COFI are based on sense-making of collaboration, and they are interaction between collaborators and interaction with a shared product. Here we can see the whole COFI framework with the interaction components as the terminal nodes. Now let's go into the details. So we will start with the first subcategory, collaboration style, under interaction between collaborators. And collaboration style discusses different aspects related to the nature of co-creation. So the first interaction component under collaboration style is participation style, which refers to whether collaborators can participate and contribute simultaneously, or they have to take turns. For example, in ChatGPT, turn-taking is used as the participation style, as both the human and the AI take turns. And in many improvisational human AI co-creative systems, such as Lumin AI, which dances with users at the same time, uses parallel participation style. Then we have task distribution, which describes whether collaborators work on the same task or the tasks are divided between the collaborators. For example, in a human AI co-creative drawing, both co-creators can do the same task, which is generating the drawing. And in a task-divided distribution, the main task is divided into specific subtasks, and the subtasks are distributed among the collaborators. For example, in a co-creative poetry, the user can write a poem while the AI agent can evaluate the poetry. Then timing of initiative indicates if the initiatives are spontaneous or scheduled beforehand. For example, in DALL-E 2 by OpenAI, the timing of initiatives are planned or fixed. And Drawing Apprentice, which is an AI for creative drawing, takes initiatives spontaneously to draw along with the users. Last, we have mimicry, which refers to whether the AI can mimic the user or not. Then we have communication style, which is an important interaction category. And this includes different kinds of channels or modalities for communication between users and the AI. And this means direct communication. The first component under communication style is human to AI intentional communication, which represents the possible ways humans can intentionally communicate with co-creative AI. So human to AI intentional communication includes voice, direct manipulation, which means using buttons or sliders or WIMP. Then we have gesture embodied and then text. The next component is human to AI consequential communication, which represents the ways co-creative AI can collect unintentional information from users to perceive their preference and engagement. For example, a posture or facial expression can indicate boredom or lack of interest. Then the last component under communication style is AI to human communication, which describes the ways AI can directly communicate with humans. Then we have the other primary categories, interaction with the shared product, and then the subcategory we have creative process. In COFI, there are 3 types of creative processes: generate, evaluate, and define. In the generation creative process, the co-creative AI generates creative ideas or artifacts. And co-creative AI can also evaluate contribution made by the user in a creative evaluation process. And in a creative definition process, the AI agent will define the creative concept or explore different creative concepts along with the user. The last subcategory is creative product, and under this, the first component is contribution type, which refers to the ways a collaborator can contribute to the shared product. And the primary contribution types, according to COFI, are create new, which is when the AI creates new things, and extend when the AI extends existing contribution, and transform is when the AI transform a contribution to something unexpected, and then refine. And then the last interaction component is contribution similarity, which is the degree of similarity in AI's contribution compared to the partner's contribution. And that's COFI. And with COFI, we analyzed 92 existing co-creative systems with the intention of identifying the trends and research gaps in existing interaction designs in co-creative systems. So for identifying different interaction models utilized by the co-creative systems in the dataset, we clustered all the systems using their interaction components. We found 3 clusters, and we can see here the 3 clusters and their corresponding interaction components. The interaction components we see here are the cluster centroids. The first cluster included 67 out of 92 co-creative systems, and thus we know there is a dominant interaction model in the existing co-creative systems. The systems in this cluster generates creative artifacts and pleasing in nature as they follow and comply with the ideas and contribution of human partner. The second cluster includes 9 improvisational co-creative systems that take spontaneous initiatives while contributing simultaneously. The third one includes 16 systems that advises users by evaluating and refining their contribution. And from that analysis, we found several research gaps, but the most prominent gap in the interaction designs of existing co-creative systems is that many co-creative systems do not include any direct communication channels between humans and AI. We can see 21.7% of the system do not include human to AI intentional communication. 95% of them do not have any human to AI consequential communication channels to collect unintentional information from users, such as eye tracking or facial expression. And also another big gap is 82% of the systems have no communication channels so that AI can communicate directly with humans, which is really necessary to be considered as partner. So lastly, to sum up, COFI is the first holistic framework for reflecting and exploring the design space for human AI co-creative interaction, and it provides a basis of comparing interaction designs of past, current, and future co-creative systems. And also, we identified major research gaps using COFI in existing co-creative system interaction design. So thank you, everyone, for listening.